Forget direct mail. Some retailers find special events the way to market their products. And will the bridge to nowhere get us anywhere? We visit with Transportation Commissioner Sidney Zink during this week's edition of Open for Business. I'm Monty Grushkin, sitting in for Jim Mackay.
You're watching Open for Business with Jim Mackay, a business news show that brings you information about commerce and industry in the four corners. Open for Business is brought to you by First Southwest Bank. We can help you get there. First Southwest Bank. And by the La Plata County Economic Development Alliance. Pioneer Spirit, Business Smart.
First in business news, the Glacier Club announced earlier this month that it will redevelop the iconic lodge at Tamaron, north of Durango, and will replace it with a luxury boutique hotel as part of continued improvements at the resort. Built in the early 70s, Tamaron's first employees include a veritable who's who's list of Durango business owners and leaders, including Carl Rand, owner of the Durango Coffee Company wholesale operation, Eric Allen, owner of the wine merchant, and Bobby Carl, a local real estate professional. The 139 condominiums that comprise the lodge at Tamaron will remain. Only the convention center will be removed to make way for the new hotel, said Jim Goodman, the general manager at the Glacier Club.
It's important to understand that the lodge at Tamaron is a large building at the front of the property. It's really comprised of two separate areas. The northern portion of it is what's affectionately known as the lodge at Tamaron. That's 139 individually owned condominiums, and they operate those in a rental pool, and the public can come stay at the Tamaron Resort. The south end of the project, it's about 77,000 square feet. That's the old convention center. Used to house the restaurant. There's the pool and the spa in those areas. And that's the area that we're talking about redeveloping. So we're looking to take that building, redevelop that land in addition to the 5.5 acres that comprises that site.
Goodman said the Glacier Club will work closely with the Tamaron Homeowners Association to address utilities, shared use of the pool and spa, and other issues. The Glacier Club is a private golf community that eventually will include more than 470 luxury residential units and two 18-hole golf courses, including the Cliffs course originally built as part of Tamaron Resort in the early 70s. Work began on the Glacier course in 2001 following the acquisition of the Convention Center, Cliffs Golf Course, recreation amenities, and surrounding properties for development by a private developer. Goodman announced earlier this month that the private golf community will resume construction of the final 9 holes of its 18-hole golf course on June 1st. The final 9 holes will be on the land that the Glacier Club obtained from the San Juan National Forest Service in a land swap finalized in 2011. The Glacier Club obtained 228 acres just south of Crisp Park near Haviland Lake in exchange for private in-holdings surrounded by Forest Service land. They included 160 acres in Hermosa Park and a 10-acre mining claim in the Weminuche Wilderness area southeast of Silverton. The last 9 holes are expected to be ready for play no later than spring 2017. Goodman said the course will be a Hale Irwin Todd Shader signature design. The Glacier Club also will continue work on residential developments with the introduction of a new golf villa design that offers 4 master suites designed to cater to couples or groups on golf trips. The resort currently has about 75 custom home sites and 75 residential homes in its new development. For more information, visit the Glacier Club's website at theglacierclub.com. For La Plata County businesses looking to attract new talent, finding a job for employee spouses can be a deal breaker in this age of 2-income families. In fact, Mercy Regional Medical Center recently lost a new physician because the spouse couldn't find a job in the area. Last year, the La Plata Economic Alliance established the Training Spouse Program to help businesses attract and retain top professionals. Alliance Executive Director Raja Zelnaritis says that the program helps unemployed spouses get connected to the community quicker than they might do on their own. The program is available to Alliance members only. When an Alliance business hires a new employee, they send the spouse's resume to the Alliance to circulate among other Alliance members. Last year, the program assisted 8 spouses in finding jobs, resulting in a total of 16 open positions getting filled. When Damian Peduto took his job as the head of the La Plata County Planning Department, his wife Valerie, an accountant, followed without a position in Durango. After getting connected to the Trailing Spouse Program through member Brad Tafoya, Valerie found her job as Finance Director for United Way of Southwest Colorado and Community Foundation of Southwest Colorado, which jointly fund the position.
Very thankful for the program. You know, I don't know how long it would have taken me to actually find a job in Durango, because Durango's small. It's really all about knowing people. And I was looking through the paper and things like that, and I really wasn't finding anything that that I thought would be a good fit for me. And so then when these emails came my way, it worked out really well.
For more information about the Trailing Spouse program, visit the Alliance website at yeslpc.com. Blustery and cold spring weather didn't deter nearly 60 runners from the running club's first Wednesday fun run on April 16th at Backcountry Experience. Perhaps it was because Backcountry Experience turned the running event into a marketing opportunity. Organizing or participating in special events is a popular marketing tool, especially in Durango, where consumers want to see and test products before making a purchase. For example, Backcountry Experience hosts a fun run with the Durango Running Club once a month. The event not only supports the nonprofit Runners Club, it definitely increases customer loyalty, says Backcountry Experience Marketing Director Ken Fagerlin. That's why Fagerlin organizes vendors to demo their products. And Backcountry Experience owner Ben Rockus grills up burgers and serves beer for hungry runners after their trip.
Hosting events like this, not only do we get to work with our manufacturers and the reps and the product, we also get to have the public come visit our store and see what we're all about. And tonight's a great example because two of the vendors had demo fleets. Hoka shoes, if you wanted to demo a shoe, you could tell them your size, kick off your shoes, and get a pair of Hokas on and take them out on the trail and test them firsthand. We also had Ultimate Direction, a hydration running vest. You could do the same thing there. You could try the vest on, try the product out before purchasing.
For business entrepreneur Jenny Vierling, a vendor at the event, special events are her primary marketing strategy. She and her husband Jeff started Tailwind Nutrition, a line of liquid nutrition drinks for endurance athletes, out of their garage in Dolores. They have a website but no store. Special events offer venues to give away samples and to drive customers to their website. And according to Jenny, it works.
It's extremely important because we're primarily grassroots marketing. Events is a very key component. It's an opportunity for people to try Tailwind out, take it on a run or on a ride, and really experience it firsthand to discover what the difference is between Tailwind and other sports drinks on the market.
To keep on top of Backcountry Experience special events, visit the website at bcexp.com. For Tailwind Nutritions, visit tailwindnutrition.com. Up next, what happened on National Record Store Day at Southwest Sound?
Where's the pump track?
Durango is in the running for a Bell-built grant to fund a pump track at Chapman Hill, and we need you to vote. Go to bellhelmets.com today and vote for Durango. Voting ends May 4th.
Everyone's on a budget, and we have several programs that are available that will meet those needs so that it does fit within your budget.
We're family here. They like the way they're treated. They like the way we present the numbers. There is nothing under question. They know exactly what they're getting. The quality of the Honda is number one. You want to get into a car that you know you can depend on for years and years, and it's not going to break down. It's going to be what it's presented to be.
You're watching Open for Business. I'm Monty Grushkin in for Jim Mackay. As we learned earlier in the broadcast, special events make for great marketing tools. And for Robert Stapleton, National Independent Record Store Day on April 19th couldn't have generated better buzz for his business, Southwest Sound. Record Store Day is managed by a coalition of independent music and media stores. Top-name musical artists rally around the event with more than 2,000 special releases on CDs and LPs. Those new releases are sold only through independent music stores, and because of their rarity, they draw a crowd. Stapleton said Record Store Day is second only to Christmas in generating sales. And this year's Record Store Day was no exception. Stapleton and his staff processed more than 260 transactions in one day, he said. And one fan told us why.
I I've participated in Record Store Day for the last 3 or 4 years. It's just it's kind of an awareness day for indie local record stores. It kind of draws attention away from like bigger franchises and corporations, and it's just more of a celebration of the culture of music and just its roots and where it starts. And I don't know, it's just sort of a fellowship of music lovers. It's fun, it's exciting.
If you missed Record Store Day this year, it's always held the third Saturday of April. Next year, look for Record Store Day on April 18th. Looking for free help to improve your business? The Durango Public Library will host a series of free business workshops during its second annual Gear Up for Summer Small Business Expo, scheduled May 6th through the 10th. The library actually has a lot of resources that can help benefit business owners and entrepreneurs, says Donna Arment, Business Research Librarian. Arment organizes the Business Workshop Series to help businesses gear up for summer.
But this was just to take 1 week before the summer opens for local businesses to network and get together and just kind of help with their marketing and just hoping their sales will improve their sales over the summer.
The series begins on Tuesday, May 6th, with a panel discussion with local first business owners who will cover marketing, budget, personnel, operations, and balancing their personal and professional lives. Other workshops include a social media panel discussion, a seminar on using Facebook, a multimedia marketing workshop, and day-long seminar on getting the most out of Excel. On Thursday, businesses are invited to participate in an expo featuring small businesses that offer services to other businesses. Participation is free, but space is limited, and you'll need to fill out an application to participate. For a detailed schedule, log on to the library's website at durangopubliclibrary.org. After the commercial break, we'll discover why Strader hotel rooms are named after local people and places.
Meet Dan. He owned a dog biscuit company, but Dan wanted more. So Fast Signs created a plan to raise Dan's business visibility. Now Dan has more sales, more stores, more of the good life. And more is what Fast Signs delivers. More than fast, more than signs.
Over 130 years ago, the First National Bank of Durango opened its doors to serve the banking needs of La Plata County. Over 5 generations later, we are still here to meet your banking needs and support our community. It is a record of longevity and local support that is unmatched within our financial community. We are proud to have been part of building Durango from the very beginning.
We put you first!
Stop in or call to speak with one of our professionals today. Member FDIC.
You're watching Open for Business. I'm Monty Grushkin, sitting in for Jim Mackay. The Strader Hotel is perhaps one of Durango's most famous landmarks, if not one of the longest-running businesses in the community. Built in 1887 by a Cleveland pharmacist named Henry Strader, the hotel suffered ups and downs over the years, passing from owner to owner until a group of businessmen, led by Earl Barker Sr., purchased the property in 1926. Through 3 generations, the Barkers have renovated and restored the hotel to recreate its Victorian splendor, and every April the family celebrates the grand old hotel with an open house and community tours.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Strader Hotel. This is the year 1887 and you are here for the open house of the Durango's first premier hotel.
This is the Strader Hotel's open house that we do every year. It's the 3rd Thursday in April, with the idea that this is a living museum. And so as we create this museum and we create new memories and we relive the old ones, we kind of bring the history back to people in Durango. And unlike most hotels, we do have that kind of 125 years worth of history to repeat. We have a lot of dedications that we've also done with different rooms, honoring the people that were pioneers that helped create this town, like Hattie Mashburn, who was the executive housekeeper back at the turn of the century, and also one of the most prominent landowners at the time, women landowners at the time. This is one of my favorite individuals, a man that I knew quite well, Denny Viles. He lived his last year at the Strader, and every morning one of us bellmen would lead him down for breakfast or take him on a walk to the post office. So we dedicated room 117 to his name. We have people such as Louis L'Amour. This year my mom and dad are being honored for their part in developing tourism in Durango. We have Mercy Medical Center, which is a very important part of the foundation of a town like Durango. The Ute tribe, which were the first settlers in Durango, along with the Anasazis, or the ancient Pueblo Indians. So we have so many things to share. So 125 years of history of the Strader, as well as the fun and the celebration of over 5 million people that have been a part of the Strader's history as customers, guests, employees, and so forth. So it's been a lot of fun, and we try to celebrate that every year with this event.
If you'd like to nominate a person or organization to have a room dedicated in their honor, download a nomination form from the Strader's website at strader.com. Ever wonder how the Durango economy is faring? Roger Zalneritis with the La Plata Economic Alliance meets with Open for Business correspondent Jessica Boston to provide an explanation of the economic dashboard.
Hi, I'm Jessica Boston with Inside Durango TV, and I'm here today with Executive Director of the La Plata County Economic Development Alliance, Roger Zalneritis. Roger, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Jessica. Yourself?
Good, good. We're here to talk about the economic dashboard.
Sure.
So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of background. We started to create the economic dashboard when we were told there was no real good information about how the local economy was doing. Fort Lewis had tracked that for a few years, but they hadn't for a while. So we came up with this in order for people to better understand our local economy and whether it's improving or getting worse or not really changing.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit more about what these symbols mean?
Sure. Yeah, let me start from the very top of the dashboard. There's a chart, and what that chart shows is how our economy was doing this month compared to a year ago the same month. That's called a year-over-year index. And I got that from the Federal Reserve. I worked at the Federal Reserve for a couple of years, and it's called a diffusion index, the Federal Reserve. And that's actually one of the things they use to help set interest rates. So it's considered pretty important in the economic world to have an indicator like that. I thought that would be, if it's good enough for the Federal Reserve, it's good enough for us too.
Yeah.
So, how does December 2013 compare to December 2012? And then there's a quick top of the line summary that shows how many indicators improved, how many didn't change, and that means within 2%. If they didn't move by more than 2%, they were just neutral, and then how many got worse. And then it goes into even more detail from there within workforce, within construction, within oil and gas. How did the different line items perform? And there's a little plus, a minus, or a zero indicating no change, going down the right side of the dashboard. So again, going from more general to more specific as you go through it, and then you can look at any one of the line items and say, oh, our number of drilling permits was down, but our number of housing starts was up. You can go into that level of detail if you want to.
So tell me a little bit more about the workforce sector.
Sure. The workforce, the numbers look good if you look at our unemployment rate for the last year. It's been going down, which is always good. But there's two things that have caused me some concern. One is that we're not seeing the number of people in the labor force increase very much. So you see there's a zero there, or a neutral number by the number of people in the labor force, and that's been pretty consistent all year. The other thing that happens is the state seems to over-report how many people are working. So it looks like we're gaining more jobs, it looks like we're gaining more people in the labor force, and then in February or March when they revise their numbers, they seem to pull them back every year. So those numbers on the top chart, they looked more green until December when we got the revised numbers, then we had to scale them back a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that makes me a little more nervous about how our economy is doing. It looks good for the year, then they take a second look at the numbers and say, well, it wasn't quite as good as we thought. And as a result, we're kind of improving, but not a lot. So that's another concern, is our labor force isn't growing. So I don't know what it's going to take in order to start seeing that labor force come back a little bit. Construction's good. Travel and tourism's good, but we're not seeing it translate into jobs just yet.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think that will mean for Durango residents?
Well, it'll mean one of two things. It will mean that it's either difficult to find a job because we're just not seeing the openings come about. So if you're looking for a job, that could be a struggle. It also means, this might be a little prognostication here, but it also means that if people are moving here, they may not be in the labor force age. It might be more of a retiree or second homeowner population that's been driving our construction for the last year or two and may continue to do so. That's important because our companies need to have a good labor force to hire from as well. Mm-hmm. So one, maybe we're not seeing the expansion in jobs that we would hope to make it easier for Durango and La Plata County residents to find work. Two, it might be that the composition of who's moving here is changing a little bit. which could make it harder for our employers to continue to grow in the future.
All right, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the dashboard?
Sure, just where people can find it to keep up to date. I'll be updating January here very shortly, and then February after that. If you go to our website, yeslpc.com, we have a facts and figures tab, and it's right underneath that facts and figures. It's called the dashboard there, and you can look it up and see how the economy is performing. And like I said, I'll have January and February here soon, so we'll start to see how our New Year's economy is going as well.
Well, great. I look forward to checking that out. Thank you so much for joining us today, Roger.
Thank you.
Back to you, Monty.
Thanks, Roger and Jessica. Stay tuned for our visit with Colorado Department of Transportation Commissioner Sidney Zink.
Today, Dad's moving into Sunshine Gardens.
We're all really excited.
You sure are a hit around here. Woo!
And once he's settled in, I'm sure he'll come out of his shell.
Streaker! 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 Streaker!
I hear they even have a happy hour. How about that?
Yeah. Well, I think he's going to like it here just fine.
You know, honey, I think you're right.
Welcome back to Open for Business. I'm Monty Grushkin, sitting in for Jim Mackay. Today in our studio, we welcome Sidney Zink, who serves as the representative for District 8 on the Colorado Transportation Commission. Her area covers Alamosa, Archuleta, Conejos, Costilla, Dolores, Hinsdale, La Plata, Mineral, Montezuma, Rio Grande, Saguache, San Juan, and San Miguel counties. Welcome, Sidney. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, to start off, how does the state determine which projects get funded with such a limited budget?
It certainly is our greatest challenge. The approach that we've taken is to get regional input into the regional priorities, what's most important, and my district is actually split into two planning regions, the San Luis Valley and the Southwest. So each of those gets together with their representatives, gives input to the state, but then the state puts it in a larger bucket where they can evaluate it based on merit and need and all kinds of more subjective criteria, so that hopefully the most important projects rise to the top.
And is safety one of the main criteria that determines what rises to the top?
Absolutely. Safety is probably number one, in that if a project primarily is designed because of a safety issue, it will certainly rise to the top.
So why did CDOT decide to redo the intersection at 550 and 160 here in Durango?
It was a matter of the traffic count and the congestion that is in that intersection. I think it surprises me that people who live here don't actually appreciate the traffic count that goes through there. It is the second most busy intersection in the state of Colorado during the summer months.
Wow, that's very interesting. It's hard to comprehend, having lived on the East Coast where traffic jams are significantly different than they are here in Durango.
Yes. Well, the statistics show that they monitor how long the average car sits at the intersection and at a light, and then evaluate based on this plan that has been tested in other locations, by the way. We're not the test child here. That they can reduce the waiting time at that intersection by more than half.
Wow.
Once it's finished. So I have heard comments from locals who say, you know, I drive through there occasionally and it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but the traffic counts are there to prove it.
Well, we're looking forward to getting through this new intersection sooner than later. So on to another project. So CDOT's gotten a lot of flack about the Bridge to Nowhere. So obviously the question is it going somewhere, and when might that be?
You must be speaking of the US 160 interchange.
I am. Yes, I am.
And that's a good question and a fair question. And the good news is that they have, the parties involved who are most affected by this, the property owners, have come up with a new plan to change the configuration just enough to be less intrusive on the property owners. And they have come to a meeting of the minds among the key property owners. Now we're back to the process of, because of the significance of that project, it needs the environmental study, and that needs to be updated and renewed. But this is all in process, and there are stepping stones that will happen in May, and the next major stepping stone in November and December of this year. So if things stay on track the way they are, we could see some real progress on that project. Of course, even with a meeting of the minds doesn't mean the money is waiting for us. So there will be that challenge still in the future.
And is that funding something that we have to ask for now, or is it already planned for and just needs to be utilized?
It will have to be reapplied for because of the initial funding and just how that mechanism works, that once the project is again approved from different federal agencies and state agencies, it will have to go back on the drawing board for funding.
Okay, well, we have about 30 seconds left. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us that you think our viewers need to understand?
Well, I guess most importantly, I would hope that people do appreciate that CDOT really does do its best to prioritize appropriately and to make sure that Southwest Colorado and the San Luis Valley get the attention that they deserve. And we're always willing to listen.
Well, that's it for today. Join us on May 8th for the next edition of Open for Business. I'm Monty Grushkin. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for watching Open for Business. Tune in every week with Jim Mackay for information about commerce and industry in the Four Corners. Open for Business has been brought to you by First Southwest Bank. We can help you get there. First Southwest Bank. Also brought to you by the La Plata County Economic Development Alliance. Pioneer Spirit, Business Smart.